Prime Time Nation Media. All right, everybody, we're going to get into it for a short time. This is Prime Time Nation Media, building a brand new channel, one step at a time.
I just need a moment,
a sports channel,
to give a little more, to feel a little more. Before I open my eyes, it feels like I was chosen to give a little more, to feel a little more. Before I open my eyes, I just took the red pill. I've been moving different when they see me, watch they hit till. If I don't get it, then the rest will. They ain't checking on a nigga, no more running on the treadmill. Please don't trip, please get a grip, yeah. I ain't scared to commit, yeah. I ain't scared to commit, yeah. I just need a moment to give a little more, to feel a little more. Before I open
Tell the truth.
my eyes, it feels like I was chosen to give a little more, to feel a little more. Before I open my eyes,
Tell the truth.
before I open my eyes, yeah.
All right, everybody. Peace to you, everybody. This is Information Man. This is a brand new sports channel. If you are a person that loves football, basketball, soccer, whatever it may be, I will be definitely catering to your sports enthusiasticness. Okay, this is what this channel is all about. This particular channel will focus mainly on sports. It will focus around issues around Deion Sanders, his son, Shilo Sanders, Shilo Sanders, Coach PrimeTime's journey as a coach from Jackson State University, where he did great things, to going to Boulder, Colorado. And outside of dealing with issues around Deion Sanders and his family, as well as his journey, we'll be touching on other sports issues. Now, tonight, I want to give my prayers to Damar Harmon, the young man who plays for the Buffalo Bills. I believe he's a safety. The game was just live not too long ago, and he tackled someone. He made a tackle. He got up, and then he fell down. And then you had Buffalo Bills players surround him saying, get someone out here, get someone out here. This is a serious situation. They brought the ambulance out there, and then we found out that they gave him life, breaths. They had to do CPR on him. And then, as far as I know, his family, his mother, his family were able to get into the ambulance and go to the hospital with him, and they stopped the game. This is the first time this has happened, I believe, in NFL history, where they actually had to give someone CPR on the field. So let's give that brother our prayers and hope that he makes it through this. The players themselves were not willing to play. So that's one of the updates that just happened not too long ago. So what I want to do right now is I want to talk about this situation. You've got, of course, Deion Sanders, he's accepted his job at Colorado. Looks like he is nabbing and snatching a lot of great recruits across the country, and he's also doing some damage within the transfer portal. But I want to talk about his son, Shiloh, because oftentimes when we think about the sons, we know about Shador. Shador is the one who people believe has the potential. Shador is to the left side of Deion Sanders. Shador is the one that people believe has the greatest potential to become a Heisman Trophy winner. There was talks about that when he was at Jackson State, putting up great numbers, doing a lot of great things, winning some championships. Unfortunately, they didn't win the Celebration Bowl, which is like HBCU national championship. But he gets a lot of shine. You see him here in uniform. He has already made his commitment to go along to Colorado with his father, and there he is donning the uniform of Colorado, where there's already talk about whether he can be an NFL prospect as well as a Heisman Trophy winner. Now, you may say, well, he plays in HBCU, he ain't had the skills, but he has been fantastic as you see him here doing his thing in the uniform. And so we've just been hearing a lot about my man Shiloh Light, and there he is, a little bit of football stuff that he's doing right there. You see him doing his thing, it's moving out. That's Shador. He's got the skills, ladies and gentlemen. But there's his brother. Now, a lot has not been talked about his brother. There was a lot of rumors, a lot of rumor mill on social media that he didn't want to go to Colorado with his father, that there was some type of rift between him and Deion Sanders, his father. There's been some back and forth, but I got the exclusive video today, wherever you are in the world, that it looks like Shiloh Sanders is saying, no, don't believe the hype. Me and my father don't have any rift. He just has a different way he looks at things. And Shiloh has been this way since he was much younger, when he was part of Prime Academy. What I noticed about this young man is that he is a free thinker. He thinks for himself. He's a critical thinker. He said, he loved it at Jackson State. He loved the people there. He loved the way they made him feel. And just so you know, as much as we've been talking about his brother's skill set and what his brother brings to the table as a quarterback, Shiloh Sanders is no joke either. People don't realize this, prior to him signing with going to Jackson State, where he says he plans to still graduate there, and he still has some years of it. He has 2 more years of eligibility to decide where he wants to go. Is he going to go with his father or go to another school? But prior to playing at Jackson State, this man was recruited heavily. We're talking about Shilo Sanders was heavily recruited to schools like South Carolina. I mean, major schools in the SEC. And this is where I want to show you, because proof is always in the pudding. You know what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
There he is in the number 12 jersey. He was recruited at South Carolina, where I believe he might have spent 2 years there. That's in the SEC. That's one of the big dog leagues where he flourished before leaving to go to Jackson State with his father, because he believed in the whole idea of uplifting HBCUs. And so there you have Shiloh in his uniform, doing his thing. Here he is in a press conference after a game. So we're not talking about a young man who doesn't have talent. Not only is he intelligent, but he's very talented athletically, but you don't hear as much about him because the prominent one that's been put out there is the brother, because the brother may be potentially someone who can become a Heisman Trophy winner. But Shiloh, after leaving South Carolina to go to Jackson State with his father, and here he is in uniform. He looked pretty good in uniform. Now, like any father and son, you're going to have differences. You're going to have differences of opinion. You may not always agree with your father. The father may not always agree with the son. But see, that's the thing. You are the blood of your father. You are the son of your father, but it doesn't mean you're going to always think the way your father thinks, because you're going to think for yourself as you mature into manhood. Now, I want to play something that goes way back, because Deion Sanders had a very difficult breakup. His father had a very difficult breakup with Shiloh and Shador's mother that happened some years ago. It was very messy. It was all over the news. And there was some issue around the fact of whether Shiloh wanted to stay with his mother versus stay with his father, Deion Sanders. And years ago, back when they had the Prime Academy that Deion Sanders was running in Texas, Shiloh, there was some problems that he had with his father and mother. There was some breakups going on. Matter of fact, there was some issues around whether Shiloh got into a fight at the Prime Academy. I don't know if it was Prime Academy or there was something where Deion Sanders, his father, was sued. Someone was suing him. and accusing him of trying to delete video footage or some kind of evidence that Shiloh had did something, that his son Sanders, Shiloh, whether he was guilty of something. Now, this young man admitted in court that he did go to juvenile once before because his father took him there. I'm not going to get all into that type of dirt, but there was an issue there with Prime Academy where he was asked a question during a court deposition. This is my proof that he thinks for himself even when he was younger. Listen to this right here.
Did your dad also coach over at Prime?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like Prime?
Now I'm going to stop it right there because he's pausing. The lawyer is asking Shiloh, did you like the Prime Academy? He goes, Now, obviously, he may not have liked it 100% because I don't believe this young man is a puppet. I think he thinks for himself and he's saying, and listen to this right here.
I made the best out of my situations.
I'm going to stop right there. He says, I made the best out of my situation. And I think it's the same thing that he's using in examining whether he wants to go to Colorado, where his father is right now. Okay, whether he's going to go there, because in the interview that I'm going to play you, he says, I've got to do some soul searching here. He says going to Colorado might be best for my father, but is it best for me to go to Colorado when he has enjoyed his stay and his time at Jackson State? But I got news for you. He's made a few changes, and I'm going to play that for you in just a moment. But that video that I just played, I think is hard hitting when he was asked that question those years ago. I'm going to play that again.
Did your dad also coach over at Prime?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like Prime?
I made the best out of my situations.
And so that heavy pause once again shows you that he thought about it. And what I'm going to say, just from my opinion, looking at that, is that it appears to me that Shiloh may not have completely enjoyed his experience at Prime Time Academy, which his father ran. And he also admits in this interview that I'm going to play for you, it's a short interview, that just like any kid, you get sick of your parents, right? So he loves his father, but sometimes you can get sick of your parents, because they're on top of you. They're telling you to do this and do that, like anyone. So, and at that time, he was a young man. And at that time, his mother and father, Deion Sanders, were going through a divorce. There was some issue around whether he got into a fight or attacked someone or something. So that was a very difficult time. But I'm playing that because when you hear this interview that I'm going to play for you, it shows that, in my opinion, Shiloh really is a free thinker. He thinks for himself, he analyzes, and he's not just going to run to Colorado just to be with his father just because it's Prime Time, it's his daddy, that I need to be where my daddy goes. Okay? And like I said, he's no stiff. His brother has his brother's got it going on. Shador, which I think I hope he wins the Heisman. I think Shador can win the Heisman. But his brother at the same time has the skills that it takes to get to the next level potentially, because he says in the interview that I'm going to play in a moment that, hey, I want to get to the next level. And he knows that his father, Deion, Prime Time himself, Coach Prime, he knows that his father has the skills, has the ability to teach him how to get to that next level. The question is whether he wants to go where his father is right now. So with everything that I've said, let me go ahead and play that interview. But this young man, he's a grinder, and I'm going to play something for you that you need to see here where he really breaks it down. And before I play this, let me go ahead and say this just for the purpose of copyright and fair use. Federal law allows citizens to produce, distribute motion picture videotapes or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe the copyright under 17, what do they call it? 17 USC 107. You see it right there. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And so with that said, here is Shilo Sanders breaking down his feelings about Jackson State and whether he's going to go to Colorado. And I think let's hear it now.
First of all, bro, I just want to express my love for Jackson, not only the city, but JSU. I just really appreciate how much love everyone has shown me since I've gotten there. Like, they just treat me like family, bro. Like, everywhere I go, everyone always looking out. And just for me and my family, we really appreciate that. And it's sad we couldn't win that last game. I definitely want.
And I want to say shout out to Sky Room Podcast. That's the brother who originally had the interview with him. Shout out to him. And once again, fair use under 107, fair use.
Do it for the city, for the fans, for the students, man, just for the culture. Right. And just go out with a bang, really.
So what's going on? What's the conversations in the household right now? What are you working on? Like, what's next?
Well, I just entered the transfer portal a few days ago.
Okay. And what are you looking to do with that? And look, this is the thing though, bro. Everybody just automatically assumes you going to Colorado. And when we had a conversation, you're saying that you're trying to see your options. So I think this is a place for you to really express.
Very important right here, because the interviewer is asking a very excellent question of, in my opinion, Shiloh, by saying he's trying to weigh his options. And yes, you're right. He is a free thinker. And that's why I see the difference between him and his brother. I think that Shiloh is the more, he's the more renegade of the two brothers, meaning he goes by his own, he goes at the beat of his own drum, as they call it, in my opinion. And he's weighing his options. Now, he has already said in this interview that he has put himself in the transfer portal. A transfer portal in college is when a young athlete is deciding to leave one school to go to another school. It could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe they're not getting playing time, they're not happy, they're home, they have some issues going on at home. There could be a variety of issues, or they just choose that they don't want to go back and play for that school. And when they enter the portal, the question is there another school that's going to take them? Because sometimes when kids put themselves in a transfer portal in the college football level, some kids get picked up and some kids may not get picked up, depending on what the school needs are and if they feel that you're the athlete that they need. Okay, now let's go back. So he's already admitted that he's in the transfer portal, excuse me, and that clearly tells us that Shilo Sanders is leaving Jackson State. Even though he admitted that he loved Jackson State, he loved all his time being there, but he is committed to now seeing what's out there. Let's get back to this interview, shall we?
What a school would get, or what's on the table if you were looking at other schools.
So basically, I got 2 years left of eligibility, and I'm gonna graduate actually from Jackson State, which is
fantastic that he is going to graduate from Jackson State. So often we have student athletes who never graduate with a degree after playing football, but he is definitely emphasizing his academics.
Something I wanted to do in the spring. So I'm gonna have all this time to get all my grades and get my degree from Jackson State. And during that time, I just want to find a good home, a good next home. I feel like playing in the SWAC, they just don't respect it. Like, we have great players, they just don't respect it. Like, you could just ball out, but still, you don't got competition.
I think this is a very important point that he's making, that in the SWAC, in the HBCU, you have talented players there. They ball out, meaning that they go out there and they play at the highest level of their skill set. And for some reason, because it's HBCU, people may not respect that. And he says you got to ball out. You got to go to the extent of your skill set. You got to go like beast mode to be noticed. But he said that if you're a good player, they're going to find you. It's just that they do a downgrade if you're playing at HBCU level. He said when he was in the SEC, the only difference is that the linemen were bigger, offensive linemen, defense linemen, but the skill position players he felt were the same as they were in the HBCU level of play. Let's get back to this, shall we?
Right. And I played in the SEC. Probably the O linemen, D linemen are different. They're probably a little bigger, but other than that, the skill players is similar. The respect level not being there for SWAC players, it just makes it more difficult in that aspect. Just getting graded and evaluated by scouts and stuff. But if you could ball, you could ball. They're gonna find you. But this is a little bit harder in the SWAC. You gotta do like double.
Right. You gotta do
like triple.
Yeah.
My dad going to college.
Double and triple and put triple the effort. You hear what he's saying? There's a bias against HBCU athletes.
Colorado gives me like a great opportunity to continue playing on an even higher level, you know. But at the same time, that might be the best place for him for right now. But I just want to make sure that's the best place for me.
This is very important right here, what he just said, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to take this back. As he says right here, let me play this back just one more time. Let you hear that.
The opportunity to continue playing on an even higher level, you know, but at the same time, that might be the best place for him for right now. But I just want to make sure that's the best place for me.
Boom. Once again, showing that he's a free thinker from his father. He says that maybe Colorado may be the best place for my father. But once again, as I had said earlier, is it the best place for Shiloh Sanders? Because he still has a lot of love for Jackson State. And I like that he said this because this goes back to what he said when he was a younger young man, when he was part of Prime Academy, when he was asked that question again. Here we go. Let me bring it back again. Let me bring it back again. And here we go.
Did your dad also coach over at Prime?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like Prime?
I made the best out of my situation.
Boom. I'm playing that again to emphasize the fact that, once again, this is fixing this young man. He's making his own decisions, not being swayed by his father's celebrity status or athletic status to think for himself, just as he said on this video.
And get my degree from Jackson State. And during that time, I just want to find a good home, you know, a good next home. I feel like playing in the SWAC, they just don't respect it. Like we are
right. Playing in the SWAC, they just don't respect us. And of course, he made that statement about it may be the best place for my father, but may not be the best place for me to go to Colorado. Let's hit that again.
Level, you know, but at the same time, that might be the best place for him for right now. But I just want to make sure that's the best place for me, rather than just rushing to it because it's my dad, you know.
Right.
And I know he always gonna show love. I know, you know, that's a coaching staff that I trust. But at the same time, like any other school, a whole nother city, I got to make sure that's the best thing for me.
Right.
At the end of the day, because it's my career. And
Exactly.
I'm the one that has to go on the field, you know, and I just want to make sure it's the right place.
Yeah, and people are quick
Facts.
to make assumptions on your situations. And I think one thing I wanted to ask you personally is like, what's something that people are misunderstanding about this situation? Because there's a million different stories all over the place. You already know how that stuff goes.
Oh, bro.
So right now, let me just put myself back up here again. So once again, Shiloh Sanders right now in a moment is going to put at rest all this drama that's been put out there on social media in general, that him and his father have some type of rift it's just like anything, ladies and gentlemen. When you have a father and you have a son, fathers are going to challenge their sons and sons are going to challenge their fathers, because as a son, you're trying to grow into being a man. And at some point in time, you're going to lock horns with your father. This is natural. That's going to happen. So yeah, maybe him and his father had a little bit of a disagreement because, like he said, he really loved it at Jackson State. But that doesn't mean that they've got some type of hate for each other, because the social media and media out there, they put out stuff that they want you to believe that isn't really true. So he's going to put that to rest like right now.
Yeah.
The thing is, say I stayed at Jackson State, folks would be like, oh, why didn't he go with his family? He must be getting into it with his dad or something. You know what I'm saying? Just like false narratives, when really the fact would be, oh, I just want to like keep playing for a championship team at the end of the day. Now, if I go to Colorado with my dad and it's like, they're going to be like, oh, you know, he need his dad. He got to, you know, just keep following his dad around. Sometimes it's not wrong to do it on your own, bro. It's not wrong to make your own lane and stuff like that. So that's why I'm open to the...
Ladies and gentlemen, he's completely correct. Every time you have a child, a teenager, or adult that has a very famous mother or a very famous father like Deion Sanders, people are going to judge you by your father. Oh, you only got this opportunity to go to the pros, to go to this school, to go there because of who your father is. And it's obviously to me that Shiloh Sanders is trying not to be put in that light. He doesn't want to be blanketed by, oh, it's my father, that's why I'm getting these opportunities. He wants to show that he's getting opportunities based on his own merits. And I definitely have to agree with him. I definitely respect that about the young man. Let's continue.
To the fact that, hey, Colorado's a good spot, but let me just keep weighing my options and make sure. You know what I'm saying? It's the best spot for me. Even though that's my dad, even though I love him, I love my brother, I love the whole coaching staff over there, you still gotta evaluate the situation before you just jump into it. Especially, you know, I've been in college. Like, I gotta ball out now and go to the next level, like, soon. You feel me?
Thanks.
So that's basically like my thought process and how I'm gonna go about that.
So it's pretty obvious, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, he has aspirations to play professional football. So when he says he's got to ball out to go to the next level, he's got to play and play well for the next 2 years wherever he goes, because his goal is to get into that NFL draft and take it to the next level. We'll see how this all works out, but let's continue with this interview. This interview is something else, ladies and gentlemen.
What's the conversation? Have you talked to him about it? Like, what are your conversations in the house about that situation?
Well, he's on board with whatever decision I make. Of course, you know, he's gonna push me. He's gonna continue pushing me, especially if I go to Colorado, which is something that's great. Like, who wouldn't want Coach Prime coaching him? And that's my dad also.
Right.
Sometimes he get on my nerves now.
Yeah.
He's gonna get on my nerves.
So it's just like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna have a father, a mother, and sometimes your parents are gonna try to guide you, and they're gonna get on your nerves. And even if they're guiding you in the right direction, you're still gonna feel like, hey, I wanna be an adult. He's at that stage in his life where he wants to be the adult and not this little kid, you see, when he's coming of age. Very good point that he made, and this is a good interview because it knocks away all of the innuendo in the bullshit gossip out there that there's somehow a rift between him and his father. Let's get back at this now.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he got my best interest, man. So I just gotta always keep that in consideration, no matter if I go on any visits or whatever. And that's always gonna be there, you know.
For sure. Well, is there anything else that you want to say to the fans, to fans of the family, to fans of you, anybody watching? What do you have to say closing out this Jackson State era for you, man?
Man, Jackson, JSU is always gonna be part of me, man. I'm not just gonna leave and forget about everybody here. I'm not gonna be acting Hollywood and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still gonna be, you know, part of the culture, part of the movement, and still gonna.
All right. I gotta give this young man kudos because he's more mature than most brothers in his age bracket that are getting the attention that he gets, being a football player, having a high profile father, playing at a power pack black school, HBCU, as Jackson State is, and also a young man who at one time was playing, as I said before, playing in the SEC, as you see him right here with his teammates. We're heavily recruited. So this is not a stiff right now, okay? Never was a stiff. So I definitely appreciate what the young man is saying. And what he also did is that he gave a lot of love to Jackson State. And he says that he doesn't want to go Hollywood. He doesn't want to be the typical go Hollywood and have his nose up in the air. I think that type of attitude is going to take Shiloh Sanders a long way, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I want you to see something that I clipped from this young man. Just keep this in mind. He's playing football. When you play sports, I played basketball, you got to have a certain attitude. This is what separates the great players from the good players to the average, is that it's got to be your attitude, your mindset. And with him having a father like Deion, prime time, you know where he got this attitude from. Look at him in the locker room at Jackson State, where he's challenging his players and saying, hey, if you ain't on offense, you gonna get your head knocked off today. Check him out. I mean, I love it. I mean, this is what sports is all about.
If you don't start on offense, getting their head knocked off today. If you don't start on offense and you play receiver or running back, you get your head knocked off today. And that's the problem with that. Hey, Trevor.
Whoa. I mean, look, you have to have an attitude to play this game called football. No doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I want to appreciate everybody out there for listening to this program. This is Prime Time Nation Media Sports Channel. I'll be touching on all topics around these kind of issues and touching on all different types of sports, depending on what the issue is, when I can give my commentary to it. But let me give you all an update on what's happening with Coach Primetime. His father, Deion Sanders, he is doing a hell of a job when it comes to recruiting. I think Buffalo, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, this university in the Pac-12, I think he's going to turn things around there very soon. He's got a great coaching staff that he already did a great job nabbing Travis Hunter, who I talked to you about earlier. He gave a great interview with his boy, Shannon Sharp, okay? I look for great things that happen on the horizon at this particular program. He put together a great coaching staff, as you can see there on the board. Really good coaching staff that he's put together. And I want y'all to be reminded of something. He hasn't forgotten that he's black. I know he took a lot of criticism leaving Jacksonville, but let's just a little reminder for you all.
The thing that alarms me the most is just because I'm leaving Jackson, they think that I'm leaving African American. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm black. I can never leave who I am and what I am and how I am and how I go about being that. So it is still my task to look in that locker room and see 65 to 70% of African American men trying to help them get to the next level, as well as all the others. My calling is for young men, young women, and people of all walks of life, all social climates, and all ethnicities. That's my calling. My calling is not built on a location. It's built on a destination. Now that was good. You're supposed to clap for that. All right, that was good.
All right. So there it is, Deion doing his thing. And I'm looking forward to when the season does start, the next year season, which is 2023 season of college football. But let me give you a little update out there for some of you sports fans and college fans out there about Buffalo. This is what's going on with his recruitment. This is Deion Sanders and what he's doing in recruitment at Buffalo right now. Buffalo currently have the top 25 overall recruiting class and the nation's 4th ranked transfer class currently right now. Colorado roster is far from settled for the 2023 season, though will have all the recruiting and team coverage to keep you up to date. Now, this is according to BuffaloStampede.com. CU, Colorado University football news. Now, let me let you know what he's also doing. So right now, they're ranked in the top 25 schools that have the top recruits, and he could be going up even. It could be even higher than this right now. But let me let you know what he's doing in addition to getting top recruits so far. Heavily, and he's been getting people that have left Jackson State. He's been recruiting young men across the country who definitely want to play for him. But in addition to what he's been doing on the recruiting market on signing day, by landing Travis Hunter, as I've talked about before, and of course he got his son, Shilo Sanders, no doubt about that. And I also talked about Travis Hunter again. He got him, no doubt. But what he's also done in addition to landing his son, as well as Travis Hunter, as I spoke of, Buffalo stole a pair of recruits from Auburn and another from SMU and signed several ready-to-play transfers in 2023. Recruiting class ranked at 29th nationally. So basically, the recruiting class was ranked, I should have put this first. The recruiting class was ranked 29th nationally on December the 21st. I should have put this one up first, but now has jumped up to top 25. So they're moving up the ladder, and Deion Sanders is also he's making a lot of headway in the transfer, the portal. He's getting a lot of kids that are transferring over to him through the transport portal. So I got to give him a clap and a kudos. We're talking about Deion Sanders doing what he's got to do to bring in the talent, to build up this program, and to get things moving on the right track in Colorado. I also want to say before ending this program that I want Jackson State to continue using the blueprint that Deion left them, to continue doing what they're doing to get that program continuing to be top notch. Continue to do the blueprint that this man left you, and I would say improve on the blueprint. Improve on it. But with that said, once again, Shiloh Sanders to me is a free thinker. I give him a clap. I give him 100% clap. I thank you all for listening to the program today. This is Information Man. This is Primetime Nation Media. This is my sports channel. Building this channel one step at a time. I know about channels. You take your time over time. You build the content up. You build an audience over time. I'll be giving you live streams like this. I'll be loading up a lot of pre-produced videos on this channel, step by step, loading up YouTube shorts. I know how this thing works. You start off small, you build up. I can jump rope, skip rope, write whatever at the same time. I have several other channels, but those channels have no bearing on this channel, because I go live on my other channels based on a certain day and schedule. So what I'm doing over here does not affect what I'm doing on other YouTube channels, because this YouTube channel is primarily to attract people who like sports. So I'm building, or trying to build, a brand new audience here. If you like what you're hearing already and seeing, won't you go ahead and do this? I want to say to you, thank you for watching. I want to say to you, like and comment, and definitely subscribe.
Tell the truth.
I appreciate you all out there. Appreciate you. And with that said, you know what? We got to get out of here and do our thing, ladies and gentlemen. You all have a great week, a great day, a great evening, wherever you are watching this. Go ahead and share this video on all your social media. Tell people about this particular channel, and everybody take care. Peace to you. And let's get on out of here.
Information is power.
Peace.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Peace.
Tell the truth.